their dads today is higher than it was for Black males in 1965. And we're seeing a huge amount of dysfunction among both Black males and Caucasian males today. And much more among Caucasian males than we were seeing among Black males in the 1960s, in the mid-60s.
Do we know why?
Yes, because the lack of father involvement leads many boys to feel that they don't usually have postponed gratification. So I'll give you an example of what happens. So moms and dads tend to set boundaries the same way. They both care about their children. They say, sweetie, you can't have your ice cream until you finish your peas. Children tend to test boundaries the same way. They want to have as few peas as possible before they get their ice cream. The difference between moms and dads, on average, and sometimes this is reversed, the roles are reversed. On average, the difference is that when the child says to mom, I don't want to have my peas. I had a bad day in school today. I was bullied by somebody. Or the mom and dad are divorced, and the mom feels guilty about the divorce and feels the child must be very stressed. Her empathy tends to step forward and she says to herself some version of, I'm not going to get into a big argument about a few peas. This is ridiculous. Now, when they're married and the father does enforces they can't have the peas until they can't have the ice cream until they have the peas, the mother feels that the dad is being insensitive. When they're divorced and the children are going over to the father's house, the father says, I'm sorry, we had a deal here. The deal is you can't have your ice cream until you finish your peas. And the child goes, you're so mean, mom lets me have my peas when I've had a bad day like this. And so with the dad, the children learn that they have to focus on finishing their peas in order to get their ice cream. And because dad's not going to give in, and empathy will not, the child cannot coerce or manipulate the father's emotions in order to get the ice cream before he finishes the peas. Whereas with mom, the child is learning, I can manipulate a better deal here. Mom says, okay, I know you've had a bad day, so I'll tell you what, just have half the peas. And so the child realizes, this is negotiable. So it begins to try to have half a piece. And then the mom says, okay, again, the child at least tried. They've had a bad day. Okay. So now the child is learning that with mom, I can manipulate better deals. And so the skill set that the child with mom often learns is that of manipulation, but also a lack of respect for the mom's boundaries. And so the mom finds herself repeating the boundaries, and where dad, after a while, does not have to repeat it because dad's made clear that when the child does not finish the peas, there's no ice cream. So the child learns to focus on doing what he or she needs to do in order to get what she or he wants, the ice cream. And so what the child is learning with the dad is postponed gratification. And as most people know, postponed gratification is the single biggest predictor of success or failure. So the boy without postponed gratification goes to school, has homework to finish, but is much more likely to get sidetracked by an invitation from a friend to play a video game. And so, or he has a real great potential as a basketball or football player or as an actor or as a musician, but he doesn't have the discipline to become one of the best actors, musicians, basketball players. So other kids beat him out that are even less talented than he is for that role. And he begins to feel ashamed of himself and sometimes depressed. And again, no girls are interested in the losers. They're interested in the winners. And so he starts turning in on himself and becoming withdrawn. And his only friends are the online friends. And he doesn't have real friends that will help him move or do something when it really counts. And so this leads to depression. And in the worst case scenarios, the increase in suicides. And a lot of that comes from not having a dad that is there to guide him, to help him take risks, to help him be disciplined at doing what he wants to do. Moms are very good at helping their children, both girls and boys, identify their talents and pursue them. But very frequently, the children without a dad does not have the discipline to successfully become outstanding at the most fulfilling things. You want to be an engineer, or you need that discipline, but also if you want to be an artist, a writer, a musician, if you want to ever make a living at it, or a basketball player and join the NBA, you've got to be extremely disciplined.
That was great. So on your point,